Hello and welcome back to the story of Jim Bakker. Let's continue with the fall of Jim Bakker. By the mid-1980s, Jim again came under investigation, but this time by the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. The IRS found that he had been taking a salary that was nearly 5 times the expected amount for a nonprofit minister. Additionally, it was reported that between 1980 and 1983, the Bakkers had used $1.3 million in ministry funds for personal expenses. The IRS report recommended that PTL should be stripped of its tax-exempt status. However, again, no action was taken against the ministry at this time, regardless of the preponderance of evidence that the IRS had gathered on the Bakkers. Some believe that the Bakkers were not prosecuted at this time because the Reagan administration did not wish to alienate the evangelical voter base by taking down one of the most well-known and popular ministers in the U.S. Recompense finally came for the Bakkers in 1987 when it came out that Jim had paid Jessica Hahn approximately $280,000 of ministry money to remain quiet about a 1980 sexual encounter that they shared. According to Jim, he had this encounter with Jessica Hahn to make his wife jealous after she had a perceived affair so that her jealousy would bring her back to him. Jim, at the time, was so obsessed with growing Heritage USA and his ministry that his attention was always divided when he spent time with his wife. He would shower her with lavish gifts and took her on multiple expensive vacations, but was unable to provide the necessary human interactions and encouragement that his wife needed. However, his infidelity would be the beginning of the end of his relationship with Tammy Faye. As a warning for those who are sensitive to sexual assault, this would be a very minor discussion of the subject, but if that could be potentially distressing, please skip the rest of this video. Jessica asserts that Jim and John Fletcher drugged her for the purpose of sexually assaulting her. Jim insists that the encounter was consensual and that Fletcher had set up the whole thing. In addition, according to Fletcher and the PTL director Jay Babcock, Jim was allegedly involved in homosexual or bisexual acts, which he denied under oath. Jessica was paid with PTL funds that Jim managed. This was the beginning of the end for Jim Bakker.